Hey, Book Dragons, I'm so glad you've joined me today. It is officially the last month of 2024. December is here, and it is time for my monthly update. So, I'm going to be talking about the things I did in November, as well as my reading plans for December, and I'm really excited. I feel like December is going to be an awesome month, and I'm going to end the year on a strong note. So let's get right to it. Got to put my eyes on, as I always do, and let's talk about some books. The first thing, obviously, is we got to talk about what I read in November. And November was kind of a weird month for me because I DNF'd a couple of books and I read some books I didn't plan to read, so I feel like it was kind of a mixed month, but overall it was really, really good. So the first book I want to talk about is God, Emperor of Dune by Frank Herbert. And this was a hard DNF for me, guys. I got halfway through it and I decided I am not going to continue, and I'm not going to continue this series. I did make a video about that. I'll leave it in the cards at the end if you want to click on it to check that out. So I'm not going to say much more about it here, except for the fact that I was really sad to DNF this series. It just, I guess, wasn't for me, but I'm still a huge fan of Dune and Dune Messiah. Those will always be right up at the top of my list, so I just didn't continue the series. The next book I want to talk about is Rise of Endymion. I also DNF'd this one, but I'm not permanently DNFing it. I'm still going to go back and try and finish it, but I think I'm going to knock it out next year. It just was kind of dragging for me. I was kind of enjoying the story, but not really invested in it. And so I decided, oh, you know what, I'll just do it next year. And so that's what I'm doing there. The next book I want to talk about is The Big Four. And that's by Agatha Christie. It's a Hercule Poirot novel. And I buddy read this with my friend Mona Lisa over at Mona Lisa Reads. I really had a blast with this book. It was a really, really great story. A really quick read. So I had a blast reading it. It wasn't as good as some of the other Agatha Christie books I've read, but it was still really, really good. I also read The Ice Dragon by George R. R. Martin, and you can find a review for this book on my channel, so I'll try and leave that in the cards at the end of the video as well. But I just absolutely adored this book. It's set in the same world as A Song of Ice and Fire, but not necessarily in Westeros per se. It doesn't actually say where it's set, but it says inside the front cover that it's in the same world, so I'm taking that for what it says. And I thoroughly enjoyed this book, so I hope you'll check it out. I also read another book by George R. R. Martin, and that is Night Flyers. And this is a science fiction horror novel. Or novella, I should say. It's short. It's under 200 pages. Really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I will have a review for this one coming probably in the next couple of weeks, so be on the lookout for that. And then I also read Vinland Saga Volume 2. Really enjoyed that one. I'm still absolutely loving being in the world of Vinland Saga, and I can't wait to continue reading that manga series. And then because I DNF'd 2 large books, I had enough room on my plate to read my patron pick for the quarter, which is Tomb of Gods by Brian Moreland. And guys, this was such an awesome book. I love Egyptology, archaeological stories, and I was just eating this up. Everything about this book just really, really clicked for me. And I will have a review for that on the channel later as well, so I'm not going to say too much about it now. But if you like Egypt and you like archaeological digs and stuff like that, you should probably check this book out. It's a lot of fun, and I'm so glad that my patron picked this for me for the quarter, and it was just a great read. So that's everything I did in November, aside from being able to do more gaming and things like that. And we'll talk about that here in a few minutes. But first of all, let's talk about what I plan to read for December. And you can probably guess what one of my December books is going to be. And that is Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson. This is book 5 in the Stormlight Archive. And I am so excited to see what happens in this book. It completes the first arc of the Stormlight Archive, which is also really cool. And I'm excited to read it, except for the fact that it's a big old chunky monster. It's close to 1,400 pages, I think. And so I'm like, oh man, I don't think I'm going to read anything else in December except Wind and Truth. And so that was my initial plan, was to only read Wind and Truth. And then I was watching somebody else's video. I think it was Kay over at Kay's Hidden Shelf. Yeah, I was watching her video, and she was talking about Death of a Christmas Tree Salesman by Patricia Meredith. And I love Patricia Meredith, and I bought that book last year when she first released it around the holidays. And I had forgotten that I had intended to read that for the holidays this year. So I'm like, okay, I can read Death of a Christmas Tree Salesman while I'm waiting for Wind and Truth to be released, because it doesn't come out until December 6th. So I've got time, and it's a really quick, easy read, I think. So I'm going to read Death of a Christmas Tree Salesman, and I've heard it compared to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer meets Agatha Christie kind of situation. But I'm there for it. It sounds good to me. I'm a huge fan of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, that claymation type action, and it sounds like it's kind of a similar vibe to similar setting and things like that, except there's a murder that happens because the Christmas tree salesman dies apparently. So I am so excited to get to read that finally, and I think that will make for a good December. I think 2 books is probably the best I'm going to do in December, because December is always a busy month with the holidays and family stuff and all that. You know, I want to be able to enjoy my family and my holidays. So I'll still be making videos for you guys, but those are the only books I'm going to read in December. Okay? So let's move on from the books and talk about a couple of things that you can expect to see on my channel in December. First of all, I am going to try to have a Chaz and Friends episode in December. Not guaranteed, but I am looking at a couple of options to do that, so stay tuned for that. I am going to be talking about The Realm of the Elderlings with Derry from Derry's Read It Before. She is such a sweetheart, and I've been so excited to have a discussion with her about my journey in The Realm of the Elderlings. So we're going to be talking about all the books probably leading up to the end of the Tawny Man trilogy, because that's as far as I've read. That is going to be on December 7th, I believe. Let me take a look at my calendar. Yes, December 7th is when that is happening. So I am doing some live streams in December, but I'm still going to try and keep it low-key and enjoy the final month of the year. And then, of course, I am going to be doing a video talking about my plans for reading in 2025 and just some general plans that I'm looking to make happen in 2025 as well. So look for a video coming out based on that. And probably after the first of the year, probably my first video of January is going to be my best books of 2024. So stay tuned for that as well. I hope you're excited about that. And now let's move on to my highlights from the month of November. Just talking about some things that I really enjoyed that I did in November. And of course, part of that is celebrating the Thanksgiving holiday here in the U.S. with the people I love. That was just an absolutely amazing time. We had a lot of food, way too much food. Food comas were a thing. and it was just so much fun. We had plenty of leftovers, of course. So we ate good for several days. And I just always enjoy that time. You know, both of my kids were there, and it was just a really special time. So that happened. And then I played some fun games and I watched some great shows. And so I'm just going to mention a few of those here to kind of give you an idea of what I did. The first one I want to talk about is that I finished Warrior with my roommate. He and I have been watching through that series together. That was just a really great series. The ending was kind of disappointing because it wasn't necessarily intended to really be an ending, but HBO canceled it, or was it Netflix that canceled it? It's on both streaming services, but one of them canceled it. They were kind of spearheading the continuing seasons of it, and it's just not going to get continued, which I'm really disappointed about. But it was an ending, so I guess that's something. I also binged Arcane Season 2 in 3 days. And man, I tell you what, Arcane Season 2 was absolutely freaking amazing. I hope you guys, if you have not checked out Arcane, I hope you will do so because it's really well worth your time. And I heard we're getting more shows set in the League of Legends universe. But Arcane, for its part, is a completely finished series in 2 seasons. And that's the way it was intended. That's the way they played it out. And it is phenomenal. So please check it out. I also started watching Dune Prophecy. That is the precursor to the original Dune story, set about 10,000 years prior to Paul Atreides. And it's talking about the development of the Bene Gesserit Sisterhood and things like that. So far, it is absolutely phenomenal. It is such a great show. I'm just really enjoying myself so far. And yeah, I'm excited for where the show is going, so we shall see. I also watched Transformers 1 with my roommate. It recently came on streaming and we watched that. And I was really hesitant, guys. Really hesitant because I am a Generation 1 fanboy. I grew up watching the Transformers cartoon series on television, Saturday mornings, and then later when it was Saturday morning reruns, and just everything about the original Generation 1 Transformers. I was there for it. I had some of the original Transformers toys, and of course, as my kids were growing up, the first thing I introduced them to Transformers-wise was the original Generation 1 cartoon. I have the complete box set on DVD. I'm such a huge fan. So when I saw the trailers for Transformers 1, I was like, I don't know. I don't think I'm interested. I'm really not sure if it's going to be worth my time. And my roommate talked me into it, and I'm like, okay, I'll sit down and watch it. And I really enjoyed it. Was it the best thing I've ever seen? No. But it was really good. And I think it offered up enough nostalgia for original fans of the series and something for the new kids as well. So I can appreciate that, and I think it's going to be great if it gets more movies. I think that's definitely the way to go, and I hope there are sequels to it. So I guess we'll see. I heard it didn't do too well at the box office, so that would be unfortunate if they don't get to make a second movie that follows after this, because it was really well done. So that's Transformers 1. And then I played some games, of course. I got to play Lost Ruins of Arnak at my partner's house, so that was a lot of fun. I also got back into Magic the Gathering after a long time having not played it. And I played it all through high school, guys. I was a huge Magic the Gathering fan, all the way back from the original core set. And then as I got older, I got rid of all my cards, and I'm really kicking myself that I did that. But anyway, I've started playing again. I heard the announcement that they were introducing the Final Fantasy IP to Magic the Gathering, and I'm like, Final Fantasy, did you say? okay, sign me up. I need to get back into this so that I can get on the bandwagon when Final Fantasy comes out for Magic. So that's not coming out until June, so we've got a while. But I started getting back into it, and I'm really, really glad I did. I played it locally with some friends here, and I've been playing a lot on Magic the Gathering Arena as well. So that's been a lot of fun. And if you are on Magic the Gathering Arena and you want to play with Chaz, you can send me an email or whatever and let me know, or find me on there. I forget what username I used on there, but you can find me on Magic the Gathering and on Magic Arena and fire up a game with me if you want. I'm just saying, so let me know if that's something you're interested in. But I've really had a blast getting back into Magic, and coming back to it, it feels like I'd never stopped, because I'm just remembering all the muscle memory. I'm remembering all the ways that I played it and strategies and everything. It's all flooding back, even though I'm almost 50 years old. So the little gray cells never go away, or well, maybe in my case they're starting to turn purple, but they're there. They're still there. So I've been having a blast with that. And the final thing I want to talk about is that I started playing Castlevania Lords of Shadow. Guys, I am a huge Castlevania fan. I played all the original games way back in the day, even some of the handheld games for Game Boy and stuff like that. I'm a huge Castlevania nut. And of course I watched the Netflix series as well. I'm a huge fan. And I'd never played Castlevania Lords of Shadow, except for like the intro of the game a few years back. I did play that, but I'd never gotten a chance to come back to it and play it again. And I'm having so much fun, guys. I absolutely love Lords of Shadow, and I'm hoping to finish it and play the other games. There's a side quest game that kind of falls in the middle between Lords of Shadow 1 and 2, and then I'll play Lords of Shadow 2. So I'm super excited to be getting to this epic Castlevania game. So that's everything I did in November, and stuff I'm still doing, really. I just been having so much fun. And the nice thing about DNFing a couple of books in November and the rest of the books being really quick, short, easy reads was that it gave me a lot of extra time to focus on some other hobbies that I really enjoy. So that's been really cool for me. Let me know what you think about all the stuff I talked about in this video. I know I talked about a lot, but I'd love to dialogue with you in the comments down below. And let me know what you think. Tell me what you're planning to read for December. Tell me some cool stuff that you got planned for the holidays and for the end of the year. Tell me how your holidays were in November. If you celebrate Thanksgiving in the U.S. Or a version of it, let me know. I would love to hear about all the fun things that you did as well. So, until next time, guys, make sure that you read more books and do lots of other fun stuff, gaming and all that stuff. I will talk to you soon. And I'd like to give a huge shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for all you do to support my channel. I appreciate you very much.